G'day, how you going? Thought I'd do an update on the FJ Cruiser. So we've had it now for, I think it must be coming close to 7 weeks. I think we just passed 6 weeks last weekend. Now in that time, there's a few things that I'd thought I'd share with you. So we've done 5,000 kilometers in that time, or actually probably 5,200 or 300. And I've taken this thing quite a few places already. So one of the first videos I released was just all about the FJ, and one of the recent trip videos I did was when we shot up to the high country. So I reckon in that time I've got a few things sorted, and we'll share with you the updates that I've done with the Cruiser in that time as well. Now, something else about these FJs, which I'm sure a lot of my mates are realising, they seem to be seeing these things everywhere now. It's like anyone you know that's got a car. I get sent FJ things via Instagram and text message and all that sort of stuff. Mates seeing them out in the road and out and about and getting a message how many of these things are out there. So yeah, I reckon it's really cool because a lot of them are so different, particularly overseas in the American market and in Japan, how they do these things up. With modification wise, some of them look really good, all different, all unique, putting their personal touches on them. So yeah, to all you guys sending me those, thanks. And if anyone else happens to see any around or you know any, yeah, jump across on my Instagram to Offroad Touring Life and you can shoot me a DM on there and I'll check them out as well. But yeah, it seems to be growing at a bit of popularity. Like I said, I'm not sure whether it's because I've got one and you do notice those things a lot more, but yeah, they're definitely a bit of a unique sort of vehicle. Since owning the FJ, I've taken it across to the Wombat State Forest. We've been to the Victorian High Country. I've been up through Numurkah, Echuca, up to the Murray River there. Where else have we been? Oh, out through Lima, Benalla, and into the Strathbogie Ranges as well. That was last weekend, plus quite a few other little day trips and bush drives, bit of four driving and camping. Now, I haven't filmed all this. I've just been actually out enjoying it and working out what things I do need to add to the Cruiser. Like in my first video when I talked about it, I had a pretty good idea of what order I wanted to do things, and I'll talk you through that in a moment of what's coming up for the Cruiser and what little things that I really like about it as well, and whether I miss the GU Patrol. Alright, so I just want to apologise if that sun's a bit glary across this camera at times. I'm doing this after work and the sun's actually starting to set and filter through those trees there. I'm out in the bush here. Now, things that I've got coming up with the FJ. I've got the 12 volt. I've been talking to Shane from Prowire Auto Elec. You can find him on Instagram. I'll pop his Instagram link down in the bio there. So I'm going to be running a lithium battery with the 12 volt setup running to the rear with USB charging ports, etc. for running camera gear and charging phones and all that sort of stuff. And I'm also going to be putting in a GME XRS UHF. Now I am looking at putting an aerial mount in the rear door just to keep the aerial off the front of the bull bar there and just have it hinge mounted off the back hinge there, which I've still got to organise that to get that organised and delivered. So I'll be getting the 12 volt done by Shane. Now down the side here, right here, is going to be my Safari snorkel. So in that first video, you might have heard me talk about which snorkel to go for. Originally, I was looking at a TJM, and I've decided to go with this Safari snorkel. No real reason, but that's what I'm going with. And I am going to get the ARB winch bar on the front there. Now, I went for the option without any of the fog lights or anything. That a couple of reasons. One, it keeps the price down quite considerably, and I never had fog lights down there on the Patrol, so I figured I don't really need them there, and it saved me a few dollars as well. So I'll be fitting that with a couple of good mates once that comes in. So they do have them in stock, but I just got to get that organised and picked up. And the snorkel will be getting fitted middle of March, around that sort of time. So I've got that all booked in to get done. Suspension, that's something I'm still not 100% sure what I'm going to go with, but I'm going to have to get that organised before I put the winch on. But I will be going a 2-inch lift. Whether I stick with Old Man Emu like I did on the old car or what, I'm not 100% sure yet, but yeah, that's going to be getting done, obviously, to match the winch and the weight of the bull bar on the front. And what was the other thing? Oh, maybe I'm going to have a chat to Toyota and see whether they've still got the availability for the factory rock sliders underneath. So that's just a matter of me getting that organised. I'm not sure whether they still stock things for these or not, but I have been keeping an eye out in the second-hand market, because I have seen a few pop up, but they're way up in New South Wales and stuff like that. So it doesn't really make it too cost-effective to get them sent down, or for me to do a road trip and head up there. Alrighty, so one of the first things that we did to the cruiser was add a roof rack. So that's a wedge tail roof rack by Tradesman Roof Rack. So it's a flat alloy roof rack on there. Now, you might be wondering why the roof rack for the first thing you did. Well, there's a few reasons. One, I can throw swags and things on there, and I've got my awning up there, so I'm all set to go camping. So when researching for the FJ, and I did mention it in my first video as well, a lot of people mention the blind spots out their rear. Now, where I live, I don't find it to be too much of a problem out where I'm driving it. I'm not in much traffic, etc. One thing though that I have noticed of blind spot is out the front with these mirrors. So if you're coming up to an intersection or through a roundabout, you do have quite a big blind spot. There you just got to adjust your head a bit and have a bit of a look and double check out the front, just purely because of the way those mirrors sit up and down that way. Other than that, I've got no complaints about this car at all. I really enjoy driving it. Totally different than the GU. It's just smaller, a bit lighter, a bit more nimble, and I haven't found it to be missing the patrol at all. I often get asked, you know, do I miss it? And no, I don't. I'm sure I will at some stage, but at the moment I'm really enjoying driving this cruiser around everywhere. Now, there's one thing that I did notice with this the other day that I think is pretty cool. Well, little quirky thing. These cars are known for being a bit quirky with, you know, their big dials and things like that inside, but I'll give you a quick look inside of this little simple idea. I'm not sure whether other cars have it or not, but yeah, I reckon this thing's pretty cool, and I'll give you a look at that now. All right, so I'll turn the camera around then, I'll zoom in. Where the ignition is, where your car keys sit, there's actually a little rubber pad under there, so your keys aren't swinging and scratching on the dash, and it's just quiet. I hadn't even noticed it till probably a few weeks ago when I was sitting there, I was pulling the keys out and I had a look. So this little pad here, I know, that's just something I hadn't heard anyone else talk or mention about that when I've looked at these videos about these cars, and I have watched a lot of them. Yeah, I just thought there was something little quirky thing in there that I find really good. Now, the 5-speed automatic as well, I'm finding to be silky smooth. Haven't had any problems. It goes in and out of low range without a problem at all. The rear locker, because they're standard on these, works an absolute treat with a simple push of the button, and you're rear locked as well. Now, I am jumping backwards and forwards in this video because, yeah, there's just so many things to talk about this car, but something else that's really cool is the reverse camera. I've never had a car with a reverse camera before. I find this reverse camera to be in a perfect spot on the spare wheel, and it has good broad range and good distance out the back there. So, yeah, that reverse camera works really well, and it does come up in the mirror. I just find it to be quite handy. You know, just for that extra point of reference if you're backing up towards something. And it does have those parking sensors in the back. They only come on if you hit a button on the dash while you're in reverse, and then you'll get your parking sensors to operate that way. But yeah, I haven't even needed to bother with those yet. There, the camera. Yep, that's a big thumbs up there. So after doing a few trips away and covering 5,000 kilometres, something that is a little bit different, just the way I pack it. So at the moment I'm still not running a fridge or anything, so an esky goes in there, drop the seats down, and I've been running the swags inside for now. Haven't found the need to throw any of the swags on the roof, but we've only been going out with the double swag on myself and my single swag. The room in the back, I actually don't mind the suicide door. So when we were camped up at Chuka the other week, it was a nice warm night, like it has been for pretty much all of January. Just had the doors open, and you know, you don't find these cars get too hot inside, particularly with the windows being so vertical and the windscreen being so vertical. But having those doors open, have that nice airflow. So I'm looking forward to that once the fridge goes in. And plus the added luxury of being able to pop open that rear glass on the back door, just for that extra ventilation running through the car. The long trips, like I've been, you know, smashing out quite a few Ks. Pretty much what we used to do before all these crazy world it was for the last 2 years. We'd be away most weekends. So yeah, getting lots of kilometres in. Now a lot of people, I guess, economy people might be wanting to know about that. So I'm getting between 10s and 11s at the moment. And that's pretty consistent. I've been driving, like whether it's in the headwinds, days where it's been 36 degrees plus into a headwind, it does seem to use a bit more, but that's just the petrol and that's fine. So that's where a long range tank will be looking, you know, into that in the future. Quite possibly the 115 litre replacement, I think, should be all right for that one. But yeah, fuel economy, it's pretty good. I'm not too worried about it. When the lift goes in and the bar goes on, obviously the economy is going to drop and get a little bit worse, which is to be expected with any car when you modify it. Now, just before I shot out to do this video, I put a quick thing on my Instagram story. And I said, does anyone want to know any questions about the FJ after doing 5,000 Ks? Now, one of them here is, what's my favourite feature? I think the smooth auto and plenty of power. Yeah, it's just good to be able to cruise along and stick to the speed limit up every hill, where the patrol's getting pretty tired after 400 odd thousand kilometres. So yeah, it's good to have that power there. Much different to drive than the patrol. Definitely different than the patrol. Even just things like the way it corners, smooth, quiet, and on those hot summer days when you just be able to cruise along, have your air conditioner on without any worries at all, and just cruising along, just sitting there, and yeah, just a lot more comfortable. Even though I could punch out a lot of Ks in a day in the patrol, you do the same in this. Doesn't even feel like you've driven it too far. Mountain bike, the Yarra Valley. Yep, there you go. You got your mention in the video. And do you need an Everest to come along to recover as a recovery vehicle for me? Sure, why not? I'll go for driving with anyone. Good question. Yeah, come along. We'll go out and have a bit of fun. All right, so there's a few others on there, but yeah, I just thought I'd read a few of those ones out to you all. So firstly, thanks to everyone that's stuck around since I've had the FJ. I know it's a bit of a change from the patrol, and there's probably people that subscribe to me on this YouTube channel and also on my Instagram that, you know, might have enjoyed seeing what I got up to in the old GU. But we're really enjoying the FJ, and again, thanks heaps for sticking around with the content. When we do the bull bar install, I'll be looking at filming that, and we'll probably do the suspension the same time on the same weekend, so I'll put that together there if anyone's interested in seeing that. Now, if you do want to see a separate video on that wedge tail roof rack, which I probably will end up doing, comment down below and I'll put one of those together if you've got any questions about that. and price and cost and all that sort of stuff. So I did buy it, and I paid full retail for it, so it won't be any promotions videos or plugs or anything like that. That's just that roof rack and why I went with that one. And then once all the 12 volt and etc gets done as well, I'll walk you through all that as well and continue on doing some trips and things. But like I said, I've been away a few times now and haven't even got the video camera out, so I've just been out having a camp, having a nice relax, and just enjoying ourselves. So again, thanks for sticking around. So if you've liked this video, give us a thumbs up. It means a lot to us when you do. Feel free to share it around. And like I said a few times now, any comments, comment down below, hit subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching. Cheers. All right, so the old